All right. Good morning to all of you. Those of us who are physically present here and our audience online, I'll take this opportunity to welcome all of you to Miss Gimono Esther Munira Ali's PhD defense. Congratulations, Munira.
Thank you
for making it up to this point. Our candidate worked on sexual and reproductive health rights of deaf women and girls in Uganda. And because of the nature of her study, you can all see that today we have a sign language interpreter because we have guests from that community all on this side. Our guests, you're very welcome. We are very happy to have you. And I would like to take just a little opportunity to introduce one of the guests before I come, the special guests, before I come to introducing the rest of the panelists. We have Dr. Sam Lutalo Chinji, who is the Senior Lecturer of Sign Language and Head Department of Hearing Impairment and Sign Language Interpretation Studies from Chambogo University. Dr. Lutalo Chinji holds a Doctor of Philosophy in Deaf Studies from the International Institute of Deaf Studies in the UK. You're very welcome, Dr. Lutalo Chinji, and we are very delighted to have you join us this morning. I will now proceed, to introduce the supervisors that have made this possible. So Ms. Gimono was supervised by Dr. Spire Ssentongo and Dr. Resty Naiga. Please join me to congratulate the supervisors for walking the journey with the student up to this point. And I now would like to introduce the members of the panel. We have Professor Archangel Byaruhanga Rukoko, Professor of Philosophy, Dr. Elizabeth Nansubuga from Population Studies. You're very welcome, Dr. Elizabeth. Dr. Dominic Makwa from Department of Performing Arts and Film. Dr. Anna Ninsima from School of Women and Gender, from the Institute of Gender and Development Studies. Professor Veneranda Mbabazi from the Department of Religion and Peace Studies. And Dr. Charlotte Karungi Mafumbo from the Department of History, Archaeology and Heritage Studies. Those are our panelists this morning. I now take the honor to introduce our critical reader, opponent, devil's advocate or angel's advocate? Angel's advocate. Okay. So, Dr. Simon Feta from Uganda Christian University. Dr. Feta, you're most welcome. Dr. Feta's expertise is in international relations, sustainable peace and conflict studies. So you're all welcome. And of course, I have done one thing, which is forgetting to introduce myself. So my name is Pamela Hanakwa, and I'm the Dean of the School of Liberal and Performing Arts, and I'll be chairing this defense. So we followed the university guidelines of conducting PhD defense, which stipulate for us the time allocations, the different members. And so first, the candidate will have up to 40 minutes to take us through her presentation. And then she'll have an engagement with a critical reader for up to 60 minutes. And then we'll come to the panelists, who altogether will have 30 minutes. And then we'll open to the audience for questions and comments. And thereafter, the panel will retreat to take a decision, and then we'll return to announce the results. So, without wasting a lot of time, I would like to invite our dear candidate today, and to also ask Professor Farouk to make sure that the clock works. And just before I hand over the mic, candidate, I would like to take this opportunity to introduce the sign language interpreters. We have Mr. Olanya Dennis Mike, who is actually on the floor now from Chambogo University. And he will be assisted by Mr. John Buyinza, also from Chambogo University. You're most welcome. And then, of course, we have the very important desk, our secretariat, the school registrar, Florence Birabwa, and our college registrar, Mr. Vincent Abigawa. So, friends, without further ado, I'd like to invite the candidate to now take us through her work. Good luck.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. You're most welcome on this day. In 2018, when I had gone in one particular hospital for my antenatal care services, when I reached there, we sat in the line waiting to check in and see the doctor. As we were waiting, women moved. One woman was still sitting. And I told her, please go in because I came late. But she could not respond. So afterwards, I called the nurse, and the nurse said, that lady is deaf. She knows very well that she has to come with someone to help her interpret. Why did she come without someone? I told her now, did you tell her to go back and get? She said, I don't know her language and I don't know what to say. Let her sit and wait. She'll go and get someone and come back. So the nurse told me, just go and get your medicine, you go back home. I got my medicine, I went back home. But I sat and had so many questions. How does this woman access these services? How does she access contraceptive services? And also the adolescent girls, how do they transit to adolescent, okay, to womanhood? So that is where I get my motivation. And being that maternal health rights, contraceptive services, and adolescent sexual and reproductive health information falls under sexual. They are among the components of sexual and reproductive health. I got this topic that I investigated. So that is my thesis presentation outline. Before I dive into my discussion, I defined the key terms that are very important to this discussion. Deafness is a condition that arises from partial or total loss of sense of hearing. Then sexual and reproductive health rights are a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being in all matters relating to reproductive system. Then I defined deaf with a capital D, which is used to indicate members of a cultural and linguistic minority with sign language use as one of the most important hallmarks in this community. Then I defined deaf with a small d to refer to a person's audiological status without referring to sign language or deaf culture. Hearing impairment refers to a generic term indicating a hearing loss which may range in severity from mild to profound. Ugandan Sign Language is an indigenous visual gestured language based on the use of manual and non-manual features by the deaf community in Uganda. Persons with disabilities are those who have long-term physical, mental, or sensory impairment which in interaction with various barriers may hinder their full and effective participation in society on equal basis with other people. Then we have what is called the home signs. These are gesture systems used by deaf children or adults who have not had access to a conventional language model such as Ugandan Sign Language. Globally, sexual and reproductive health rights are recognized under several international and regional human rights frameworks, starting with the Universal Declaration of Human Rights in 1948, when human rights became a universal standard. Subsequent instruments such as International Convention on the Economic and Social Rights, the CEDAW, and then the Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, the African Charter on Human and People's Rights, all recognize human rights. Sexual and reproductive health rights emerged around the time of the 1994 International Conference on People, Population and Development in Cairo and the 1995 4th World Conference on Women in Beijing. These conferences were milestone towards promoting the sexual and reproductive health and implied that they are referred to as human rights. Uganda ratified the Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities and its optional protocol in 2008. This convention obliges government to respect, promote, and fulfill the rights of persons with disabilities based on the human rights principles of equality, non-discrimination, participation, and inclusion in communities. This means that there are potential challenges for the deaf to access sexual and reproductive health rights in Uganda. Globally, it is estimated that there are approximately 70 million deaf people, and these include those who have congenital deafness and those with hard of hearing in the world. The Uganda deaf community totals to 1,083,649 persons, making up to 3% of Uganda's total population per UBOS 2014. According to Kiaga and Moez, 2003, the traditional beliefs characterize deafness as a mysterious fate, a curse, or God is well. Many societies pity children who are deaf and view them as dependents or a burden to their families, and this increases the isolation and marginalization among these children in these communities. Such beliefs can lead to abuse, neglect, and abandonment of these children and persons with deafness. In Uganda, we have different categories of deaf people. We have the congenitally deaf, those were born deaf and they have never spoken or heard of any written or spoken word, and they mainly rely on sign language. Then we have the prelingual deaf. Those are persons who acquired deaf before they attained 5 years. Then we have the postlingual deaf. Those acquired, let me hope I'm not fast. Yes. Then we have the postlingual deaf who acquired deafness after learning speech after 5 years, after going beyond 5 years. Then we have the hard of hearing. Those have severe, they can hear to squint, but they cannot listen to a normal conversation unless you add more volume so that they can understand what you can hear. And mostly it is found in the elderlies. What is the problem? So sexual and reproductive health rights are key components of achieving universal health coverage under Goal 3, Target 3.7 of the Sustainable Development Goals. Studies reveal that misperceptions about persons with disabilities and the assumption that they are not sexually active have led to less attention paid to them to access these services. Research also shows that challenging issues relating to deaf women's health, sexual, menstrual health, and pregnancy care remains a contemporary phenomenon. Pregnancy care among deaf women in Ugandan health system is unclear how they access these services. In the absence of government programs to foster knowledge of deafness and the capabilities of deaf citizens, then there will be a threat and reality of social, economic, political, and educational discrimination among these people. Therefore, this study bridges knowledge gaps, how deaf women and girls access and realize sexual and reproductive health in the Ugandan context. Why this study? According to the Uganda Demographic Health Survey of 2016, and different researchers have indicated that there is lack of authentic, disaggregated data on deaf women and girls on sexual and reproductive health rights. There is also limited evidence for sexual and reproductive health rights promotion done by government in regard to this group of people. There is also insufficient empirical evidence on the deaf community, especially the mothers, the women and girls, on how they access maternal health rights, contraceptive services, and adolescent sexual and reproductive information. Therefore, this necessitated the need to carry out this study about their lived experiences. What is the contribution? Academically, this study adds on the literature about deaf women and girls on sexual and reproductive health. Secondly, it also adds more detailed information on maternal health rights and contraceptive services in this community. It also addresses and adds more evidence on how adolescents in the deaf community access the information about menstrual hygiene, among others. In regard to policy and practice, it guides government and NGOs to make programs that create inclusive strategies that can also cater for the deaf women and girls. Then it also informs the funders to add more money into training and research priorities that can investigate about the deaf women and girls in Uganda. Service delivery, it also elevates how the deaf community, how the women the access. How do they get these services? The availability of the services, we have them. But how do they access these services? Which speaks towards that significance. So this study generally sought to establish access to sexual and reproductive health rights of deaf women and girls in Bale District, Uganda. Specifically, to establish the lived experiences of deaf women and girls in accessing sexual and reproductive health rights in Bale District. To examine the challenges faced by these women and girls when accessing these rights. Then lastly, to establish civil society organizations and government's contribution as the duty bearer towards implementing sexual and reproductive health rights among these women and girls. The study was guided by 3 research questions. What are the lived experiences of the deaf girls and women in Uganda in accessing sexual and reproductive health rights in Bale District? Secondly, what are the challenges do these women and girls face when accessing these services? Then lastly, what are the contributions of government as a duty bearer and civil society organizations in implementing sexual and reproductive health programs and policies in regard to this group of people? This study integrated 2 theoretical approaches. I use the social model of disability and the human rights-based approach. Why? Because the social model emphasizes on societal barriers, societal and structural barriers that are against or excluding people with disabilities rather than their individual limitations. And then I looked at the human rights-based approach because it promotes equality, participation, inclusion, accountability, and rule of law principles for a comprehensive analysis. In methods, this study was grounded into the philosophical foundings. I used interpretative ontology to understand qualitative studies are subjective in nature. So in this world, I believe that the people that I'm investigating about, they have their own meanings, interpretations about the subject. So my only duty was to use the research questions to understand their lived experiences. Then secondly, I use social constructivism to understand the social world of the deaf women and girls through social interactions in their community. However, social constructivism did not create more spaces for the deaf way of living, deaf way of expressing their own way of understanding their own experiences, and that is why I added deaf epistemology. Deaf epistemology is the deaf way of understanding, perceiving information in the deaf culture. This study was qualitative in nature, and it was carried out in Bale District, focusing on Busamaga and Busova village for a comprehensive study. Why in Bale District? I selected Bale District because it was one of the districts that suffered the highest teenage pregnancies in 2018, 19, and 2020. And you find that even after I looked at the deaf school that was in Busova, and I found out that there was no research that had been done in that school. Yet there are different researches that have been done in secondary schools in Bale District, but they excluded this school. So I wanted to understand how these students got adolescent information about their sexuality. Busamaga was also selected because among the United Nations Population Fund fact sheet of 2019, it indicated sorry about that. It indicated that these villages in Bale district were among those that suffered the high rates of teenage pregnancies. Then, secondly, I chose this place because it had, according to the Uganda Demographics Health Survey 2016, it indicated that Mbale had the highest rate of women who use contraceptive services. So my question was, how is it catering for the deaf women? So I wanted to understand their lived experiences. And that is why I chose this place. Busamaga village has a health center 3 that serves more than 24 villages. On top of that, it has a deaf church that shelters deaf women. And that is why I selected it as my second site. Then in regard to my study design, I use intrinsic case study design because I wanted to look at the unique, to understand the lived experiences of these women because of their unique nature of their case. Then in regard to sampling technique, I use purposive to select the women, the girls in the deaf school, and then also I also use purposive sampling to select my some of the women also. Then some snowball, I used it to select some of the women also, and then the key informants were also done by snowballing. Then data collection I used in-depth interviews, and then the focus group discussions and documents for analysis. Excuse me. Then analysis, I used thematic analysis based on the Criswell systematic framework for organizing my data, coding it, and then interpreting my research findings effectively. Then for validity, this study I carried out a pilot study that helped me to validate the reliability of this. So the findings, all the participants, the study found out that all the participants cited the issue of no sign language interpreters in the health facilities. There was lack of tailored antenatal care service information that was targeting the deaf people in the health center. Then there was also another issue of the negative attitude towards the women by the medical officers. Then also no sexual health information access in this deaf school. Then also the issue of drug abuse was also cited in this study. Why? Because of lack of prescription. They used to just take the medicine. Objective 2, I looked at objective, sorry. I think I jumped to objective 1. So objective 1 was having, it was having the awareness of human rights and also how do these women understood sexual and reproductive health. But the study found out that they had little knowledge about sexual and reproductive health. Most of them thought that having sex and becoming pregnant was sexual and reproductive health. Others could not understand these principles. Objective 3. Okay. No. Yes, now objective 3. I looked at government and civil society organization contribution. What is there? What do you have? What programs have you done in regard to these women? I found out that there are no specific laws or policies that are directed to the deaf people in regard to sexual reproductive health. In regard to the key informants that I went through, I looked at, I consulted with the Ministry of Health on sexual and reproductive health, and they told me that they use the universal health care approach without any group dividing into groups. Rather, they took everyone as a whole. So they could not cater for deaf or no. They did all the policies and strategies that generalized each and every citizen. Then when I reached out to Minister of Health, Minister of Education, because they brought out the National Educational Sexuality Education in 2018 strategy that speaks towards how the sexuality education can be implemented in schools. But I found out that there was no information that was tailored towards a deaf school. Then in regard to Minister of Gender, there was also what they have for the hearing population to the deaf community. It was also lacking. Then in regard to civil society organizations, most of them could not respond. Rather, they could direct me to UNAD to get the information. And that is why I relied only on UNAD. And they told me that communication barriers prevent deaf participation in programs. And that's why most of them stay at home and don't go in the hospitals to get these services. And there were no methods of disaggregating, okay, or integrating sign language in significant human rights and sexual and reproductive health programs. For instance, we had a program of Obulam, okay? It was not translated into sign language. So the director said that such programs should be also inclusive with the deaf community. It should be integrated. However, it was also a problem. Then the discussion of my key themes. Knowledge deficit was the main problem, in the way that the study revealed that there was low sexual and reproductive health knowledge attributed to lack of programs targeting these people in this community. Most of the time you find that the programs that are put forward by Minister of Health, Minister of Education, they are targeting the hearing people, and that is why most of these people were left out. Then access barrier. There was, that is the major problem, communication barrier. Lack of sign language interpreters. Inadequate contraceptive information, how they could understand to choose the right contraceptive service was not there. So the study also found out that dissatisfaction in regard to antenatal service was inaccessible. There was nothing. How do we initiate them when they are going to give birth? There was nothing. Then scholarly, the contribution to this study advances knowledge gaps about maternal health rights, contraceptive services, and adolescent sexual and reproductive information experiences by unraveling in depth deaf women and girls' experiences is critical important topic. Scholarly, it advances knowledge on maternal health care and service gaps. Secondly, it provides detailed contraceptive services and information analysis that is critical towards the deaf women and girls. Adolescent sexual and reproductive experiences also were documented in the process, and it adds more value. Despite Uganda's legal policy and ratification of the International Human Rights Framework on Sexual and Reproductive Health Rights, deaf women and girls' linguistic needs are yet to be incorporated and implemented in the Ugandan health sector. This study examined the lived experiences, revealing significant barriers, including communication barrier, negative attitude, limited information, inadequate awareness, drug abuse, myths and information among these women. Lastly, very important, is the deaf epistemology. This is a very important paradigm in regard to developing policies and practices aimed towards improving healthcare qualities, education, better life for the deaf women and girls in Uganda. Policy recommendations. Government and health facilities. It is important to carry out a massive recruitment and deployment of sign language interpreters in all deaf schools and health centers. Secondly, integration of human rights-based approach and social mode of disability is very critical. It has principles that can be integrated in the health policies. Awareness about antenatal and contraceptive in sign language could do justice in this community. Then to the community stakeholders and parents, comprehensive research studies in deaf schools is very crucial to understand the academic strategies and challenges that these children go through. Practical. It is important for us to have practical classes using menstrual periods, pads with dolls. They didn't know how to use the pads, okay? Then when they were in their periods, they could stay in dormitories until they finish, then they come back to class. That is a very bad and a gap that I identified also. Then the translation of government programs on sexual education into sign language. It can help a lot to inform the deaf women and girls on how to protect themselves. Future research priorities. It is important to have a comprehensive study needed on HIV and AIDS awareness, intake of ARVs, counseling services among the women, the deaf people at large. Then also investigating the deaf schools, how they are managing the services, the curriculum, and also the sexual and reproductive activities. Because I found out in deaf school that they had only 5 interpreters who were running more than 500 students, which is not a very important a gap in this. Thank you so much, but we have a video. Okay.
Hello everyone, my name is Robert Nkwangu and this is my sign name. I'm the Executive Director, Uganda National Session of Sign Language, Uganda National Session of the Deaf. Today I want to look at how we promote and advocate for human rights. That's the role we do. And we do this in a number of spheres, including health services. SRHR is very important to us as a deaf community. And we have a number of challenges, of course, that we go through every other day. And one of the major challenges is communication. We do not have interpreters in health facilities. And this is a very major gap. Whenever our sisters get pregnant and they need antenatal services, they cannot easily communicate to medical doctors, and so are the nurses as well, because they are not signers. That's a very huge gap. 2, access to information generally, it's not there. You provide materials which are in English. No, it's not true that all deaf persons can read the English that you write. There are vocabularies that we talk about and we cannot use them. So not until we translate these materials into sign language, then we can have that accessibility. And then the other thing is the attitude that health providers have towards the persons with disabilities that leads to a number of barriers and gaps. So this is a very huge challenge that we face. I can look at how we can improve. 1, we need to have training for health workers. 2, recruit interpreters in health facilities. Because if there is a communication, these gaps can easily be handled. The other aspect is, let's look at the sensitization, because it will help us in changing the attitude, because all of us will get into the signing the moment we can sign.
Yes. About my publication, I published this was my first article about experiences of deaf women and girls in accessing maternal health rights and services in Uganda. It was published under the African Journal of Disability. And the second one on the experience of deaf women and girls on accessing contraceptive services and information in Uganda. It is still under peer review in Mawazo here in Makerere. Then the third one is on assessment of adolescent sexual and reproductive information among deaf girls in Uganda. This is still also under peer review and soon they will come out. About acknowledgement, that was I'm so sorry for forgetting acknowledging my supervisors and people who laid a solid foundation for this study. Let me take this special opportunity to thank my supervisors who effortlessly, I think Dr. Spire almost, I used to bump into him and he, or wherever I find him, whether he's in town or where I tell him about my, he said, Gimono, you leave, first wait. I said, no, doctor, did you read my work? I would like to thank you for not getting tired of me. Sometimes he's eating, I just bump, I say, doctor, I'm here. But I would like to thank you for that and always listening to me. I got a lot of challenges when I was going to get my data and ministry of health. I remember calling him. I told him, doctor, me have failed. And he said, no, don't worry, I'll call you later. He got someone and recommended I got the information. Thank you so much, doctor. I would like to thank also in a special way, Dr. Naiga Resty. She's a mother. She picked me. I had left. But she picked me and told me, come back. I don't know if Professor Patrick Mangen is around. I don't know. She said, Gimono, go back and finish the PhD. I told him, I've gone to do business. Me, these things in Makera, I can't. Dr. Spire told me, you know, Dr. Spire is soft. Gimono, come back. I said, no, doctor, I will not come back. But Dr. Naiga said, Gimono, where are you? How far? But she was not my supervisor then. She was just checking on me. I told her, me, I failed. Things that I failed. People, I don't have a second supervisor, so I've left. She said, no, come back. I see potential in you. Tell Professor Mangeni that I'm going to supervise you. I said, doctor, I started crying. I packed, I started crying. She said, don't cry, just come in Makerere. So I came and so I thank you so much. Then I would like to thank my doctoral committee. Oh, Professor Lukoko, thank you so much. Professor Lukoko, the moment I land there, I just go to his office. He said, my door is always open. Thank you so much. Then I would like to thank the dean. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, because the hierarchy was supposed to be like that. I think it was an error. Thank you for being a mother. You always told me you'll make it. Thank you so much. I'd like to thank my staff, the head and staff of philosophy. Thank you so much for listening to my, I always have problems. Being a private student, I am just cohortless. I had problems. But I used to bump everywhere. Actually, this research I did with everyone in this university, from PAF, Dr. Branco, to Dr. Mulek, everyone. I used to tell everyone. Dr. Spire told me, now people will get tired of you. I said, but I told him, doctor, we are on. But let me also take this opportunity to thank the office of the principal. Thank you so much. And I would like to humbly thank Professor Joseph Haichire. Josephine, yes. I would like to thank her because she put me on her project of archiving and memory. Thank you so much. And the coordinator of that program, Professor Nabutani. I would like to thank my main funder, Dr. Justice, Honorable Justice Lubega Faroko. He funded this project from day one. He's online, he's in Bale, High Court. But I would like to thank him for supporting. He always told me, you're doing well. Even if things are failed, he says, it is okay. You'll reach there. But I would like to thank him for always giving me that encouragement. Then I would like to thank the Choose Esther and Duncan. Dr. Nabutani, thank you so much. The Andrew Mellon and the archiving and memory for giving me some money to do my data collection. Remember, I'm a private student, and these sites needed a lot of money to go and get the information. Then I would like to thank Makerere University Research Innovation Fund. Oh my God. May God bless you. Thank you so much. You funded my work. I reached a point when I could not move, but you gave me the money and it did justice. Then I would like to thank Mawazo Institute, Nairobi. This is an institute that selects 40 PhD students, women in Africa. Among the 1,000 students who applied in Africa, I was among the 40 women who were the cohort 2023. And they taught me a lot of things academically, among other things that I would like to extend my thanks to Dr. Fiona, who is the director of Mawazo Institute. Then I would like to thank the School of Health Science. Oh my God, REC. That I don't know, but that board did amazing work. I always struggled with them to bring them back to human rights. They took me back to science. They told me about, no, you have to look at obesity? They go into details of gynecologists. I said, no, I'm looking at this in the context of human rights. They said, okay, always remind us. And I did that all the time. Then I would like to thank also the staff who were always there with me, the Isaac, the Icha, thank you so much. Then I would like to thank the Director of Graduate Training. Thank you so much for the programs that mainly put in for the PhD students. They really did justice for us. Then I would like to thank the technician, Farouk, and the group. Thank you, the team. Thank you so much for always being there for us. Then I would like to thank the cohort 2022. This is my family. I was cohortless, but I got refuge in these people. I found a way of entering in this group. All the time by force at one point, because they had the seminars, but I used to come. And I remember Dr. Zaidi always told me, you're just like an orphan, always just come. I understand. I said, yes, that is true. But I would like to thank this cohort. Lillian, thank you, Peter, everyone, and Dr. I don't know, thank you so much. Then I would like to thank my family. My family, they are not around, my children at school, thank you so much. Before I come and present to Dr. Spire and Naiga, I first talked to my family. I always stood in front of the mirror. And then I told my sister, she's a nurse. I told her, I want you to comment as if you don't know me. So I discuss my work. Even my children sit. And I told them, please, you just comment. Then they told, now, you're doing well. Okay? You're doing well, but the problem is, she always told me, now you always have to tell them the context of your work. Because as in science, we shall bring you back in health. So I realized that also. But I always presented to them and they critiqued, okay? Yes. The audience, thank you so much. Thank you for coming. Dr. Isaac, thank you so much. Dr. Zaidi Sechitu, these are my mentors. Remember, as I said, as a cohortless student, you always find a way of, sneaking to people. Thank you, Dr. Jemba. Dr. Jemba introduced me to Dr. Branco. I worked with everyone in this university. I made sure people understood my work. And they always told me, no, this is good. And they motivated me to finish this. Thank you so much for coming. I'd like to thank you. Thank you so much, everyone. And may God bless you abundantly. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Munira, for taking us through your work. I'm sure we've learned a lot. And I'd like to thank the sign language interpretation team. It's now that moment when we get the person who has read your work very, very critically to come and engage with you. But before he comes, I wanted to acknowledge the presence of our principal and deputy principal, but I think they just stepped out. So let me invite Dr. Feta to come and have a conversation with the candidate. Please join me to welcome our critical reader.
thank you so much, Dean and the panelists. I have been learning from this work, and I found it enriching personally to myself. At the same time, it also allowed me to ask more questions about myself and those that I observe. Since I'm supposed to talk with you, not alone, let me turn to you and thank you so much. There is an interesting story in your book on page 129. I think that's where I want to begin from. I read, when I'm pregnant, I always go with my deaf husband for checkups. He is educated, so he writes down every problem faced at that time of the pregnancy. It is a really hard life when you are pregnant and deaf. There, that pain you feel, thinking that the baby is coming out, yet no one is understanding you. Then the nurse told me to wait, that the baby is not ready to come out. I can't explain that pain. He can't even write it down. I hope you understand, as a woman, if you have children. For antenatal, I didn't attend because of communication barriers. My husband lied to me, second person, when it came to choosing family planning. For instance, this pregnancy, I did not want a baby. So when we went to get an injection plan, my husband told the nurse to inject me with the drip water. Then when we went back home within 2 months, I was pregnant. It was a big shock. The next day, I looked for my friend who helped me. When my husband was not around to ask the nurse what happened, then that is how I knew the problem. Now, I don't trust my husband. So, you see, even our people pretend to help us in translation, but they turn out to become cheaters. How did this change you now?
In the context of this study?
Of the stories.
Yes, these stories reflected how our own people in the deaf community are misled with wrong information and then making wrong decisions in regard to what they didn't need to get. Because basing on this text, the first one, she is an educated woman. So the husband is also deaf, but he's educated. So she uses the husband to communicate in the hospital through writing down.
Okay.
So this, in the process, you find that that period when a woman is in, the man fails to explain whether the baby is coming or not. And you find that when the nurse came to check this woman, she thought that the centimeters had not reached.
Okay, okay, that's all right.
Yes. So in
So
other words, the second one.
did you talk to them under a tree? Did you talk to them at home, or talk to them in a hospital?
We carried out these focus groups in the health center, Busamaga Health Center. Yes, because also the key informants were the health workers in that area. So I suggested that we carry out in this area because it had a lot of space. Then secondly, the deaf women who are married to hearing men, these men lie them a lot. And that is why this woman was injected with something else, yet she wanted an injector plan so that she cannot get pregnant, but the husband lied her. Later on, she discovered that she was pregnant.
Okay.
Yes.
That is understandable. So how many in total of these deaf persons did you actually talk to? Yes,
I talked to 25 deaf women, comprising of five members in each group, and I had 25 deaf girls, comprising of 10 discussion groups.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who helped you to choose them?
We selected them using the experts from UNAD, and myself being an interpreter, I was part of the team who selected them based on the criteria that we had.
Ah, so you were part of the team?
Yes.
Who led the team?
I am the one who led the team.
And you're part of the team? Okay.
Yes.
That's interesting. You have an interesting statistics which you focus on, and the stories seem to be, the 25 seem to be all in Mbale.
Yes, yes.
And but you're talking about Uganda. Help me understand the link between Uganda and Mbale.
Yes, Uganda, I looked at Uganda as a whole to see, because it is my third objective is informed my study on how the government as the duty bearer and civil society organization which runs across the country. So I had to include Uganda to manage that objective. So if I relied only on Mbale, then it could have limited me to look at also, remember the Minister of Health is in Kampala, so I had to put them together in Uganda. Then a case study specifically in Mbale.
So did you go to Kotido?
No, I didn't go to Kotido.
Is Kotido part of Uganda also?
Yes, it is part of Uganda.
How about Rakai? Did you go to Rakai?
No.
Okay. Maybe, how about Makerere? Did you come to Makerere?
No.
Okay.
But I did my pilot study in deaf action. That mainly shaped my reliability and validity of testing of my protocols.
You go to the appendix, page 242. You chose an interesting moderation procedure of 5 minutes there, 242. If you go there. Are you there?
Yes.
And I'm looking at the second paragraph.
Okay.
Today, we will be discussing various issues related to sexual reproductive health rights services, particularly on mental health care services, contraceptions, use, and adolescent sexual reproductive health information in Mbale district. You have been chosen because of the importance of the information you will provide, which will be used only for the purpose of this study. This information will be treated with the uttermost confidentiality. So, how did you manage this confidentiality process?
Yes. After recording and going through the ethical considerations that I followed, all this information was stored very well on the disk, and I made sure that only experts that helped me to understand my data are the ones that looked through, but I made sure no one could get access to this information, nor the videos that I had.
So you had an enforcer, like a police officer, to look through everything. Okay, that's nice. Yeah. So any forms signed or verbal consent process, management processes followed?
Yes, they signed the consent.
You have evidence somewhere?
I not included, but I have it. If in case I can provide it later on. Okay. Yes.
I will check with your supervisor, Spire.
Yes.
And other team members.
Yes.
Okay. Just flip backwards to 240, and maybe back to the story I read. That was 242. No, that story which I read. You remember the page?
No.
The two stories.
It was two. I can't remember. 229.
12. Yeah, 129.
Yeah. Thank you.
Are you there?
Thank you.
I opted to read it because in all that reading, I was only having more commas and I think 2 full stops at the end.
Yes.
And that works through many other parts of the story.
Yes.
So I hope you will do justice to that observation.
Thank you.
So back to 240. You displayed some research findings and some proposals of what you think should be further done. But two things just to ask.
Yes.
What are the key research findings from your interview held with these executives?
The key findings. Yes. The first is that there are no policies, no strategies, no programs that have been...
No policies, no structures?
No, not structures, strategies.
Okay, no strategies?
Yes.
No policies?
No programs?
No programs?
That have been tailored.
Tailored, okay.
To the needs of the deaf women and girls in regard to this topic.
You come back to your problem statement. How did you say that in your problem statement? You can use your slide of...
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
To make it easier for you.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, just from what you just listened, just said it.
Yes.
Help me reconcile what you said with what you are saying here. Yeah.
Yes. In regard to the absence of government programs, okay, to foster knowledge of deafness and deaf capabilities, there is a threat and reality of socioeconomic discrimination. In other words, basing on the findings that I found out, most of the programs do not foster any context that covers the deaf people.
Okay, but you're saying there were no programs. Okay. All right then.
Yeah.
The second question, back to 240. Back to 240. There is an interesting engagement that you had with the stakeholders in your research interrogation.
Yes, sir.
And so, which of these questions did you ask the executives in this sense? Research questions used by the executives. Which of these did you ask the executive panel that you met, the senior persons, the government officials, the hospital managers, maybe the nurses who managers? Which of these questions did you ask, and that you picked it from your research questions?
Yes. I have the appendix that I used behind.
Yes, page 239.
239, yes. Yes. So most of these executive, the key formats, were so technical. For instance, key formats from the ministries, the three ministries, did not have, let me say, time, and also they did not want many questions. So I directed one question to all of them.
Okay.
And that was the first question, because most of them, when you go beyond, they could not want.
Just read
so
it
the
for
first
me.
was, are there any laws, policies, or programs enacted to promote and protect sexual and reproductive health rights of deaf women and girls? And if yes, if present, mention any.
So how many of these people did you ask?
I asked the key informants from Ministry of Health, Ministry of Gender, and Ministry of Education.
So those are three.
Yes, those are three.
And
also
yes or no?
and also the directors, the executives from UNAD, and the health workers.
So did they say yes or they said no?
For the health workers, they were very clear. But the key formats,
explain clear.
they're explaining very well, saying that there is nothing like that we have.
Okay.
However, for government,
So
they became rude.
how did you proceed after they said nothing?
No, they didn't say anything. They said we cater for all Ugandans.
Oh, okay.
We don't set separate policies for, or we don't create special things for other groups of people. Rather, we make a one-fit-all programs, strategies for all people.
And then you use phrases like, are there, what measures, when does, what special, did this enable you to have a conversation with them, or you were just going to tick
No,
some
actually, when I reached there, most of them did not want to probe more.
Okay.
So what they gave you, actually, they even told me to write down, not record any audio. Write what they were saying, because you might use it against us. So it was very tricky. That's why I had to rephrase and take it to REC, and they approved this. Yes.
So since you had almost no cohort
I did.
of your own, but then you found a belonging after some process.
Yes,
So which was your most favorite research methodology class that you can remember?
Pardon?
Which was your most favorite
Yes, sir.
research methodology class that you can remember?
It was academic writing.
Academic writing.
Yes.
Why that one in particular?
Because it was deep and it really informed me on how to write my thesis.
Okay.
Yes.
So what type of questions were asked in that class of academic writing?
I can't really remember right now.
Okay.
Yes.
Did it help you to write better questions?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Like which one?
Like the ones that I
Just so one and just read it for us, then we good to go.
for instance, for the deaf women and girls,
Uh-huh.
it was really good, because it enabled me to probe more.
Yeah,
get more
just
information.
guide me there. Which one in particular? Just we agree together.
Okay, so let us
I'm glad you attended that class for. Okay. Or should I help you?
no, for instance,
Okay.
asking about what do you understand about sexual and reproductive health rights?
Okay. That is the one on page 237?
35, yes.
235.
Yes.
Okay.
Actually,
Proceed.
yes.
That's number one.
Yes.
Ah,
Number two.
Number two.
Yes.
Okay. That's interesting. So 3-2. So what level of education were you asking these people? What level of education were the respondents that the questions were phrased for?
No,
Particularly this one here.
this was mainly for the adolescent girls.
So
Yes.
what do you understand about sexual reproductive health?
Yes.
So what ages are you talking about here for this type of question?
15 to 17.
Okay.
Yes.
Did you also ask if they were taught in school or they learned from home?
Yes, I asked them.
How did you ask it?
When I asked about
After, what do you understand about sexual reproductive health? What did you ask after that one there?
I asked them if in case the school or the health facilities, a health center has equipments or materials that guided them in regard to sexual education.
So how did you measure this understanding?
No, I did not measure, but I got their responses that I used. Yes.
What if you just asked them, tell me about sexual reproductive health? Would that be okay?
Yeah, it would be okay. Though in sign language, when we sign what is, it is not there in sign language.
Good point.
We ask, it is broad, you ask sexual and reproductive health. Yes.
So
there are no is.
Don't go too far yet. Just pause it there.
Yes.
Because then you reminded me. Let's go back to the beginning.
Okay.
You reminded me of a case that you make reference to.
Yes, sir.
And that the case it was lost.
Okay.
The case, which is the one in the course of law.
Constitutional law, constitutional petition.
Yes.
Yes.
But you are saying something very, very important about
yes.
about a fact in translation of words.
Yes.
Was that part of your case you took to court, or it was not part of the evidence you brought to court?
Come again, please, about the question.
Back to the other first one you said, the one
of translation.
Yes. Repeat it and then using that example.
Yes.
Was that captured in the petition as well, or it was missing?
No. In this petition, they were just petitioners, but they had lawyers who organized the paperwork and presented in court.
In court.
Yes, but they did not participate.
Were you part of that petition?
No, I was not. But
how did you come near this petition? How did you come near this
petition?
Yeah.
It is online.
Online.
Yes, it is online, and according to Uganda Law Society, they put on online all these cases. So I used to follow up this case because I'm in the community. So I used to see what outcome will these people get.
Was this before the your research application at Makerere began, or it was during the time of your research at?
It was in the process, because it lasted for 5 years.
Oh.
It was in 27, they filed in 2017,
Okay.
and it ended in 2023.
So when did you start at Makerere?
I started in 2019. 2019, yes, that's when I applied here.
So you were
in the
informed
process.
about the...
Yes, we were in the process of looking forward to the recommendations, because it was thrown out with just recommendations.
So how did you capture that gap you've said in your problem statement?
I think this research can come in as
Here, just here.
yes. In
Because
regard to my
it seems that you were very intelligent, observant, engaged,
yes,
and you were seeing something very serious.
yes, sir.
Where is it here?
No, I didn't put it there.
Okay.
But I recognized it in my background. Why? Because it created a gap in regard to human rights. Remember, Uganda is a state party to most of these conventions.
Yeah.
Yet the right to health, the right to provide sign language interpreters to these people was not considered, and the case was thrown out with just recommendations. Yes, so I just brought it in my background, looking at it as some of the gaps that were left out in regard to government as a duty bearer.
So what is the difference between a gap and a problem?
A gap is enlighten me. I think that one, it's off. I can't. Yes, but I think a gap can be.
No, I think we have some time because these professors are here.
Yes.
And the classroom is
a
still here.
A problem is so critical.
Yeah.
And then a gap is something that have been left without being attended to. So that's what I think.
I was
it is an oversight.
I wanted to learn from your attendance of the class. That's why I'm asking there.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
I want to learn from that experience.
Yes, sir.
But that means that because you went online, and because from 2017 to 2019 before you began, that means you were engaged online and even in the community. So you have approximately 47 pages of references. Am I correct?
Yes.
And let's go to your motivation, because you said something very, very nice there. So you were reading many things, and you were thinking about many things, and your work is I'm told is in the School of Philosophy, Human Rights. Are you an activist in the language of Uganda's activism?
No.
No.
But silently.
Silently.
Yes.
I like your confidence. It does place you where you should be. So how do you inform yourself in terms of content you read? Do you read newspapers? Do you read textbooks? How do you keep at pace with the human rights issues?
Yes, most of the time because of the data, most of the information is online. So I engage a lot with online, but also consult books where necessary and newspapers. Yes.
So would you mind sharing 2 or 1 or 3 books that stood out for you as you put your heart from 2017 to work on this matter?
Yes. I looked at the book that stood out was the book by Davis I've forgotten the second name, but he writes about disability studies. And he really goes in deep on the issues of social model of disability, how society has excluded people with disabilities, basing on societal and structural barriers. And he really cites all that, which stood out and informed my study.
Or should we go to the model? Is that what made you to go to the models?
No, model made. I also looked at the model. It is mainly about the person, mainly Mike Oliver. He's the one who really
okay. Then that's different.
Expounded on it.
Okay.
Yes.
Did you find any disagreement with the book that you loved most?
I did not really look at that side of it. Yes.
Did you choose not to look deliberately, or or you were doing many things which didn't allow you to sit down to look at that angle?
I think I'll look at that. I will go and read deeper about it, so that I can engage more about the content in that book. Thank you.
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. Your background is quite fascinating, because you tell a personal story of a first-hand encounter, which inspired you to go there into this research.
Yes.
And so, what really is the sexual reproductive health rights philosophy?
In philosophy?
Yeah.
The philosophy
of
is
sexual rights health. Sexual reproductive health rights. What's the philosophy behind SRHR?
Yeah, thank you for that question. These are they are fundamental human rights that all individuals, including people with disabilities, are entitled to. So,
maybe what really informs that type of conclusion, that you must have this right?
Because it is provided for, it is enshrined in the international conventions, which our own country is a state party, and it is important for each and everyone to have it as a human being.
I'm looking for some link of because you're dealing with their international. What is international? Are we here international? What is international?
International.
When I am buried, do you bury me as international? Tell me what is really international.
International is global.
Okay.
When something is global.
Okay. Motivation page. You mentioned a name. A woman was Chigala. Is that right? Something surprisingly, the nurse told me that the woman was Chigala, meaning, am I pronouncing properly? My Uganda is
Chigala.
Chigala.
Chigala, yes.
Chigala. Is Chigala international?
Chigala is in Uganda. So it's in an indigenous language in Uganda, which is referred to as someone who is.
How? Yeah, I've seen it in quotes, but how you explain what is international?
Yeah, okay.
And what is
not international?
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Although you put in the text that meaning she was deaf, but not the word that what it is.
Yes.
I'm sure you will help me hereafter.
Yes,
I think
I acknowledge
you will do that.
Yes.
But something which So the whole paragraph there, the sentence is very interesting. But I want to find from you what facilities are there for the deaf persons in Mbale?
The facility,
Yeah, for deaf persons in Mbale.
for instance, in the context of health,
Just the facilities.
yeah, we have, I think in Mbale there is the Mbale School of the Deaf.
Okay, this is school.
Yes, there is
Okay,
a
that's
deaf
one.
school, yes.
All right. So
And
there's
then-
a school, which is one.
Yes.
And second one?
And the second one, there is a deaf church.
Okay, that's two.
Yes.
Is there another one?
No.
How about the toilet?
Okay, I think, yeah, it's within the school, and the church has a host,
Was it
A
okay?
toilet- a
How about roads?
roads.
Okay. You have a very nice observation. I'm really happy with it. Like very happy.
Thank you, sir.
But back to your problem.
Okay.
How did you move that observation to the problem?
Yes. The observation of the facilities.
Yeah. Because it was the motivation, something which made you not to rest.
Now, in regard to my motivation to
Yeah.
connect it with the problem statement, I looked at different research that mainly looked at this about deaf women's health,
Okay.
and it informed me that indeed this was a contemporary
Okay.
problem.
So, which was more informative? What you read or what you lived?
I believe in what I saw.
Okay. You really
So
believe it?
the other was a
Perfect.
secondary, so I will
Okay.
not go with,
We could
in
go with
it.
everything.
Yes.
So, how did you connect the two in your literature review?
In my literature review,
Yeah. What you saw and what you believed.
generally in regard to literature review, little has been written about this study in Uganda. However, there are studies that have been done in Ghana. For instance, MAPRA 2020, 2003, he wrote about sexual and reproductive health.
Yeah.
And he really brought out issues of communication barriers, negative attitude. However, he did not give an in-depth analysis of how these problems were brought out. Secondly, in Uganda, we have people who have written about women with disabilities, and then people with disabilities, especially Ahumuza.
Ahumuza.
Yes,
Are those two
2014?
part of the... Oh, Ahumuza, yes.
I'm
Ahumuza.
just bringing it
Yeah,
out.
I'm hearing. I'm
Yes.
hearing. Yeah.
So you find that they bring out some of the gaps, things that are missing in regard to my topic, and
Yeah.
that is why I integrated them with my problem.
Okay.
Yes.
I know I have second eyes and third eyes and six eyes here.
Yes, sir.
And I'm sure they're doing more than I am doing to these things. But thank you for the clarity.
Thank you, sir.
Because I just don't understand how you merge the motivation with what you read, what is international, what is Chigala, and see how that balances out. But something still on the motivation though.
Okay.
The last paragraph, you say, for the next couple of months, I kept pondering over the interaction I had with the nurse
Yes.
and felt guilty that a deaf woman missed out on antenatal services due to communication barrier. Yet she is a Ugandan citizen. How did you confirm that?
How did I confirm that she's a Ugandan citizen?
Yeah.
I presumed that is true. It is. I accept. I presumed that she's a Ugandan.
Did you also presume all the respondents?
The what?
Did you presume all the respondents to be also Ugandans?
No.
How did you qualify that?
But for this woman, I did not interact with her. So, I did not. But she was seated, so she could not respond to what I was
qualify
asking.
for me interaction.
Interaction is when you tap on someone and then they respond back, and then afterwards, but she nodded and she just kept quiet. So you could not understand her position, if she's Ugandan or none.
So for those who can't, who use signs,
Yes.
what is interaction among them?
Interaction is sign language and gestures.
Okay.
Yes.
Did you make a
Because
gesture?
they turn back and
Yeah. So
and most of the time we tap.
Okay.
And then when they turn,
so did you do any gesture?
yes,
Which
I
one?
tapped on her. Then she looked.
Yeah.
Then by that time I did not know sign language.
Okay.
Yes, but
So-
I tapped on her, she looked, and then she nodded.
So did you interact?
A little bit.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Yes.
Moving on. Next sentence. This was the heartbreaking reality which sparked my curiosity to find out how deaf women and girls access sexual reproductive health rights, especially on maternal health rights services, and then contraceptive services, and adolescent sexual rights health information. How are these three demonstrated in your objective?
In my objective,
Number 1, number 2, number 3.
they are reflected in the lived experiences. Because I looked at sexual.
I'm asking, how are they reflected in your 3 objectives? Because this is not a very simple word. If I'm reading wrongly, help me. This was the heartbreaking reality which sparked my curiosity to find out how deaf women and girls access sexual reproductive health rights.
Yes.
Especially
Yes.
mental health rights and
Maternal.
services.
Yes.
Contraceptive services, and adolescent. Guide me to see them in your objective, so I can appreciate the continuity of this learning curve.
So when I was working on this topic, I realized that what I'm looking at, not only the maternal, that was the woman who was pregnant, I realized that this was one of the components under sexual and reproductive health.
Okay.
Then afterwards, it created another question to understand. After giving birth, we go for family planning method to prevent maybe early pregnancies in case you don't want any. So I wanted to question, but I placed myself in the position of this woman, asking a lot of questions how they access this.
Give me 2 questions you asked.
Myself.
Yeah.
Yes, I asked myself, if I was a deaf woman, because me when I'm in my when I'm pregnant, I
Yeah.
always have hypertension.
Yeah.
So I was asking, what if I was deaf? How could I access the services, especially when the pressure is high? I need the medicines, and so I asked those questions.
Okay.
And then I realized this is something so broad,
Okay.
and it falls under sexual and reproductive health, which
Okay.
are the components.
So why did you ask those questions?
Because it created curiosity
Curiosity.
to question why and how.
Why and how?
Yes. Why
So-
isn't government providing these services, and how are these? We remember these people have been around
So
how are they accessing? So that's the question I had.
You used a word snowball.
Yes, I used snowball.
I'm sure this is not snowball though, but why didn't you use the same questions for your research questions of how and why?
When I was snowballing?
No, you because you asked here, you asked
myself.
Why.
Yes.
You asked how.
Yes.
But then you're asking what? What changed for you?
Yes. So I wanted to, in regard to what? What do we have as a country in the health system that caters for these people? So those are the questions that you triggered this topic, especially on these women.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I was just making an observation because I thought that you will carry the same weight of the asking into your question in the research questions, but you seem to have received another inspiration of asking differently. Why dropped away and what and why also dropped away. And then you went for what and what. But I think that has given us what we have here, which is very healthy.
Thank you, sir.
I want to appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
And you've gone international. Then you came to Mbale. I struggle to ask, and this is now my confession.
Yes, sir.
Then who gave you money for this work? But you told me there was a very generous private donor who gave you. Money to this work. Did I listen correctly? What's the link between the sponsor for your work that you confessed about and the sexual reproductive health rights?
My sponsors. My first sponsor is my husband.
Hallelujah.
He's online. Yes. He sponsored this research. He believed in it. And on the way, we got help from Makere Innovation Fund, then Archiving and Memory, and also the House of Zaka also gave us some money. Yeah, but he was the main funder of the project.
That is very inspiring. That your husband saw the question you asked and said, here's the money. How does your husband intend to use this work?
Yes, my husband is a judge in High Court Mbale.
Okay.
He believes that in the justice system, there are no sign language interpreters.
Yeah.
And he told me that actually they are making arrangements for sign language interpreters to be included in courts.
Okay.
So he really he moved from the health sector and took me towards his area, and he thought that it could also apply, and also other areas, sectors in the country.
Okay.
Where we need these services, because they bring them to court and interpreters are expensive, and if in case one doesn't have an interpreter, they have to take them back to jail. So it is so tricky in the way that it applied to him also. He appreciated the findings and he told me that really it will do well if in case we also get interpreters in the judicial arm of government.
You have given us more information now. Which is very helpful for us to contextualize.
Yes.
The the process you have gone through.
Yes.
Does that mean then that you are preparing to return the petition to court?
Not really, but we can use this work as a vessel to advocate for the rights, human rights of the, yes. It can be used to inform policy and also other stakeholders to help this community because they urgently need it. Yes.
But then, back to your husband. I'm sorry for going there.
I wish he was here. He's online.
I'm sure he's hearing us. Since you say he's online. That problem which you observed.
Yes.
How did you capture it in your problem?
Come again?
How did you capture the problem your husband observed in your problem statement?
The absence of government program. Let me say, the oversight that government has.
Is it oversight? Is it abuse?
It is neglect.
Is it neglect?
I don't know. It's
how do you capture it? Yeah.
They see it as by the way. Because when I was getting information from Ministry of Health, one officer told me that we know they get the information anyway.
How did they know?
That's what he told me. He knows. He said that we make a one-fit program strategies for all Ugandans. So we believe they get the information. So it is like an it is okay. For them, they feel like it is okay. They will get from someone or a relative who will give the information or pass on the information to these people. But this is something that is beyond even the health. It also goes to other sectors, especially police. Because when I went in Ministry of Gender, the informant asked me, I had reached, she read my protocols, and then she asked me, you're doing a very good study.
True.
How do they even report rape cases at police?
Good point.
Then I also turned and asked her, I wanted to know from you, how do you plan all these things? Because you're one of the institutions that are supposed to create disability inclusive programs. How do you manage these things?
Okay.
And she said, I'm very busy.
Okay.
Yes.
From what you've said, there is something which felt that would have turned something in some direction. Guide me if I am having a wrong sense into it, because I thought that was the beast in the house. If I use the word, that leaving it out is like something is being left out. So, because those who are deaf don't live in isolation. They live with people who are not deaf.
Yes.
Because I thought that could be something which could be part of your objective framing, because of your questionnaire interview guide somewhere, because there's an interaction of those who are not and those who are, and how that I felt that would be, and you see how your husband has missed out on this thing here.
Yeah, he's online. I know he's.
No, I mean in terms of the idea of the problem.
Okay.
All right. Page 3. Guide me how much time I have left, just in case. Because I'm just on page 3. $15. Okay. Wow. Okay, no problem. I'll still page 3. I'm on page 3. Page 3. Now, page 3.
Yes, sir.
You mention a point of deflection, and you say boys get first priority in access to education. it is common, especially in rural areas, for girls to remain home and attend to household chores. And you're making reference to, I think, Chiyaga and Maurice.
Yes.
And so this, according to these authors, has resulted in a widening educational gap between boys and girls, based on a finding that 24 million African girls were not receiving a primary education. The United Nations Children's Fund also affirms that, launched this. How did you move to education from the maternity ward?
Yes. Yes, I was drawing more picture on how the girls, this Kiaga and Moes 2003 examined about deafness in sub-Saharan Africa.
True, but they look
their
at the
text,
education of the deafness.
yes,
Okay. But not antenatal sexual.
antenatal.
Okay, proceed.
Yes, I was reflecting on the United Nations based on what the society that we are living in. I was relating to the United Nations Children's Fund, where they launched the girls' education.
I agree. I'm
movement.
not disagreeing. It's true.
Yes.
But I was looking for the link between education and sexual reproductive health rights.
I think I missed that. I'll look at it. Thank you so much for that.
I'm on page 3, no?
Page 3?
You know that yes, I'm on page 3, that you know. And as I go on, I can still say the same things.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Let me, for the sake of time I have, I hope you take note of that. But look at page 4.
Yes, sir.
Therefore, you say, countries like Kenya, Tanzania, Rwanda, Malawi, and Uganda recognize national sign language in their laws. But your husband is saying something different.
My husband is saying something different?
About the challenge of laws with the deaf persons.
Yes. Maybe you can rephrase it.
Okay.
Yes.
Uganda recognizes national sign language
Yes.
in their laws.
Yes.
But it's like your husband's testimony is saying
Yes.
something.
No.
No, I'm just thinking about it.
Yes.
Thinking aloud. However, its promotion and implementation is still a major challenge. And Harland and Allen are interesting. Then you say, for example, the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda, under the National Objective and the Directoral Principle of State Policy and the Cultural Objectives, chapter, this is 24, C, provides for the promotion and development of a sign language for the deaf. But it has not yet been promoted in Uganda.
Exactly.
Reconcile my mind between not promoted in Uganda vis-a-vis Uganda recognized.
Yes. Uganda included sign language, recognized it in the national objectives. However, implementation of the language as formally is not yet recognized. And that is why these people are still having a lot of challenges in terms of sign language.
Okay.
Yes.
I hear you.
Yes,
I hear
sir.
you loud and clear.
Yes, sir.
But where did he move to the problem? How did he move that to the problem?
To the problem?
Yeah.
No, I did not.
Okay.
Yes.
Page 5. I'm on page 5. I have, I think, 10 minutes, right? Yeah, excellent. There are 4 questions which you made me to ask you from this section alone, page 5 only.
Okay.
You may not answer all of them, but just take note of maybe.
Okay.
You make a reference to second paragraph, which is from Mugere, and I think I'm looking at the second sentence. He asserts that researchers on issues involving these silent individuals should be as flexible and dynamic as possible while applying the universally used research methods and techniques. How did you follow this guideline in your design and in your instruments?
Yes, sir.
And in your tools?
So I made sure that my instruments were clear and translated into sign language.
Okay.
Yes. When we were reading, we used simultaneous.
Okay. You didn't explain. That's noted.
Okay.
I hope you attached it, but I didn't see an attachment of translation.
Of translation.
Of the sign.
Sign language is not translated.
Okay.
We sign directly.
Excellent.
It is not written. You read and we sign.
Okay.
Yes, and that is what we used. We used simultaneous sign language translation.
Simultaneous sign language.
Yes. So as I speak, he signs. We don't write down. And that is also another important key that was questioned even during the rec. And they found out that sign language is not a written language. We sign. You read the question and the sign language interpreter signs. Either they use consecutive signing or simultaneous signing. We have two types. So simultaneous is when I read and the interpreter signs. Then consecutive is when I read, I finish the text, then the interpreter comes and signs the whole text.
So that's how you manage the process in your data collection.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
You used an interesting phrase at the end of that paragraph, and you say, you write, just to follow through, although government and civil society activists have over the past 2 decades made commendable efforts to promote the interest of this community in social, economic, and political spheres of influence, there is little empirical evidence to suggest that academicians and researchers have ventured into issues related to forgotten tribe. How did this become a tribe?
No, it is according to Mugere. 2015. He wrote about, he examined the key methodological and ethical issues on the appropriateness of applying research methods that were designed for the hearing population and then used in the deaf community. So he said, he shows that despite him diving into the literature about this population, he found that there is little information about.
So what did you say thereafter?
About his text?
Yeah.
Yes, because I also, when I was interacting, when I was reading through the literature, indeed, I confirmed that there was a few information, literature about this group.
No, he is making to forgotten tribe.
About the tribe, that is what he thought maybe, as a writer, yes.
That's why I'm asking, what did you say to this presumption?
I don't know the position that he used to
I mean, you.
I think I think these are people who have a community and culture. So he had to phrase them as deaf people so that not use a forgotten tribe.
Okay.
Yes.
I agree with you that you're defending him. I think you believe in him because. But I'm asking for you.
Yes.
What is your voice after having sieved this through? Mindful that you were working on a topic which is so scarce. Did you qualify them also as a forgotten tribe?
Yes, I think I'll reserve that. I'll reserve that
Okay.
position in regard to his text.
There is a connection between that and what you put here, and then because you move from that point on to next paragraph, which says, in the recent decades, however, that one there was 2 decades. However, the deaf community in Uganda has become increasingly effective in advocacy activities to campaign for the rights of the people. Now you're quoting Lutalo.
Yes.
But Lutalo is 2014 at the bottom, and the Mugere is 2015 above. There is an observation I made in terms of
Citation.
choice of years,
Okay.
and idea flow and organization flow, which could shift some rhythm
Yes, sir.
in the flow of the argument you're making.
Yes, thank you.
But I hope that in between you'll
Yes.
be able to assert this rare experience you had at the antenatal experience,
Yes, sir.
because that is the most important I see.
Yes, sir.
I think I have 5 minutes left. Perfect. The chair can admit. But page 6, if I flip there, the second paragraph in the middle is very interesting, and I want to pick from that, and then I draw the questions just to guide our conversation. In 2017, the deaf community, through UN aid, UNAD, and the Initiative for Social and Economic Rights, this is what petitioned the government of over the failure to deploy sign language interpreters at public health facilities. Very excellent observation. To ensure the effective provision of health services to persons with hearing disabilities. And when I read this, I was reminded of a petition by I'll also confess, since you said about your husband, I also confess, by my brother. My brother is physically impaired at his feet, so he uses wheelchairs.
Yes.
And he went to court to disagree with the court that the court buildings across Uganda are difficult for him to access with wheelchair. And the case, he won it. And I can say it to you. I wondered why and how you are thinking about policy in your work, because this outcome is very important, the policy component. So what particular policy, because it's very big policies to look at, but looking at the most important one, which one are the most important 2 policies that you think, after the collapse of this petition, must be reawakened with the evidence that you have? That's two policy issues you think your work has enough evidence to touch your husband and the rest of the people in the system.
I think this case can come back. The one of UNAD and the Initiative for Social and Economic Rights. This petition can come back and win, basing on the facts that we have in this book. This case can go through, but also basing on the recommendations that were given during the judgment. The judge recognized that indeed these people need they need their rights, especially right to sign language interpreters, to be put or employed in, though it was through just recommendations. And sometimes But if we use policy to inform, it can even go beyond to the civil society organizations. Among others, it can build more to see the implications.
Now that you have mentioned the word
Yes.
that I was avoiding,
Yes.
why did you add civil society in your work?
I added civil society in my work because they play a big role in advocacy and also to inform government, to create recommendations that can help where the government has not worked on. So I had to include.
So in that sense, I'm assuming that the honorable house here will pass you and you graduate. That's the assumption I'm making. Will they have to go to civil society, or they can go as themselves with this evidence to court?
No, they can use UNAD because UNAD
Why
is
they have to use UNAD if they are an institution that is credible and legal?
Makerere
And with
University.
your evidence provided here.
You're saying the university?
Yeah. And yourself leading it.
Yes, we can achieve it. Why? Because we have the evidence. But it is important to also work with civil society organization.
Justify it for me.
Because
Mindful that now you are at the antenatal space of maternal something.
Eh? Yes.
Okay, take a breather. So to the I think now you know what to do. Even for me, I think I'll take the run there. So I think that I was avoiding that word, but you said it. Now you've brought me back to page 7. Nonetheless, it made me ask, for whom is the study outcome most important?
The deaf women and girls.
Pardon?
The deaf women and girls.
The deaf women
And girls.
and girls. If that is the most important outcome, look at your general research objective.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Read it, and then we conclude.
The study generally sought to establish
Go ahead.
access to sexual and reproductive health rights of deaf women and girls in Bale District, Uganda.
How will you rephrase it to capture for whom the study is most important?
In my position,
Yeah.
the study is important to the deaf women and girls and also government.
My neighbor was a linguistic. I think they will help me.
Okay.
I've seen some here. My good friend is here. I will refer you to him if permission is granted, but that's conditional. But I will not go back to the statement of problem. I will go to my concluding spaces, since I have now 5 minutes elapsed. You page 10. Page 10. Page 10 is where I think I will pause because my time will limit there. Page 10 is the justification of the study, and then theoretical framework. From the School of Philosophy, I was curious to know the interaction between these things. Which one is your independent variable, your dependent variable, your intervening variable?
My independent variable is the laws and policies.
The laws and
policies.
The laws and policies are your
independent
variable.
variables. Yes.
Go ahead.
And then the dependent variables were access.
Access. Go ahead.
Reproductive health. Yes. Yeah.
Just help me one more time. One more time.
My independent variable are the laws.
The laws.
Yes.
The laws are the independent variable. Why?
Yes. Because they don't depend on anything.
Really?
Yes.
Proceed.
And then access to sexual reproductive health.
Even the parliament doesn't
depends.
I mean the laws don't even
the laws. Oh yes.
Okay. Go ahead.
The laws determines the access.
The access
of sexual and reproductive health.
Okay.
So in other words, independent variables here is the laws, policies and programs.
The laws, policies and programs. Your framework is interesting, and I thought that you needed to balance and justify some things there, and that teased me in some way to try and work out in my head what is your main argument that you're making. What are you arguing for, and how are you arguing for that? And so, since you've said that, I will not explain more, but I think you've explained it by how you stated it, that this is dependent, this is independent, and I think it speaks for itself. So, but can you differentiate between a theory and a model?
A theory, these are principles that are laid down to guide maybe an activity or a process of maybe research. So these are principles that are laid down to guide research, among other things. Yes. Then a model is it is
okay.
A model is it is something that it is a
because you use the models here.
Yes, it is a smaller form of it is a principle that explain how something works, or it is there, why something is there. But a theory is laid down to inform research or inform how things are done in society. So the other one informs how, and then the other one lays down the foundation.
Foundations.
Yes.
Did you agree with both, or you chose one?
I agreed with both.
Okay.
Though the social mode of disability did not, it was created to explain how social barriers affected people with disabilities. However, it did not provide for the how laws can be put in place to prevent the problem.
Okay.
And that is why I supplemented it with the human rights-based approach. Why? Because it centers people's interests and it advocates for inclusion, participation among people. Yes.
Because I was looking for the theories, and I was looking for it.
Yes, sir.
I'm still looking for it.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Although some models are there, but I'm still looking for the theory and how those two interact.
Yes.
Page 13, you have a picture like this one here.
Yes.
Which is somebody on a wheelchair climbing up, and then also at the restaurant.
They are being stopped from
Are being
entering.
stopped, and then on the next page is some people standing and putting up some sign and saying equal rights. How do you tell that these are death?
No, I was demonstrating what this model shows, how structural and societal barriers affect people with disabilities. Okay, and in the process, for example, if a deaf person cannot access sign language interpreters or sign language interpretation, it means these are structural or societal barriers that have excluded them not to get these services. Yet,
Good point.
yes,
Societal barriers have excluded
people
Continue.
with disabilities.
Abilities.
Yes,
Is
and
that,
that is
is that the it's like the stomach or problem?
and that is why I used it as a theory to inform my research.
So go to the problem and show me where it is.
In my problem, so in my problem here, when you look at the challenging issues related to deaf women in regard to those listed components, you find that society structure, when the structure is not provided, when they've not laid down how these women can access these services, it means they've created structural barriers in the health facility.
Okay.
Which the health social model relates to.
I agree.
Yes.
I agree.
Yes.
The way how you're saying it
Yeah.
sounds more real
Real.
than the way how I'm reading it.
Oh, okay, sir.
You have to stop me, if not, I'm on page 20 now.
Thank
Time
you.
up.
Thank you.
Okay. Let me say lastly, since I'm done out, on page 18, I've gone to 20, but let me come to 18 because something came in my mind that don't go too far yet. But there's a pyramid there. Whose pyramid is that one there?
So this pyramid is provided for under the human rights-based approach, and
Okay.
it speaks towards the principle of accountability,
So
showing
who is accounting here?
no the human rights-based approach.
I agree, but in the context of your work,
Yes,
who is accounting to who?
at national level, government
Accounting to?
accounting to the district. Let us go from the pyramid starts from down.
I see it.
Yes.
Yes.
So from the patient to the facility, then from the facility to the district level, then to the national
Put it
level.
differently. Did you want to say that there is no accountability?
There is, but to some extent,
Okay.
in regard to these people,
Okay.
yes, it is
Right.
not there.
Chair, I will pause on page 20. I will keep my word. That there I see conclusions on every chapter. Very small. And I think that the conclusions are not essential in those points, but rather that they should be a reflection into the chapter much more than the conclusion
Yes, sir.
of the chapter. But then the conclusion at the end,
Yes, sir.
I think, should be given weight
Yes.
that captures your most important argument and have interaction with the with the 47 pages of references that you have.
Yes, sir.
And sometimes you read more than 2 pages and you miss some references in them.
Yes, sir.
But there are 47 pages of references at the end. But let me pause there.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much, Dr. Feta. Yesterday I was joking that this room is in Alufenya, but we eventually come out smiling. And Munira, thank you very much for responding to the questions.
Thank you.
But Dr. Feta, I thought that I would, when I read, I don't let a rat to cross, but I think for you, you can't let a cockroach even cross the road. You can't miss it. So thank you very much for the very critical reading of the work. It's making me think about my own work and how I write, and how sometimes I say things that I'm not able to defend later, or that don't actually add up to what my final argument is. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to invite members of the panel, one at a time, to engage with the candidate. And Munira, you're free to take a seat. You've been standing for long, and so it is perfectly okay for you to have a seat there.
Thank you,
but if
Chair.
you feel like you're still going strong and you want to stand, that is also okay.
Thank you, Chair.
Okay, so I would like to invite Professor Rukoko to go first, and thereafter we'll have Dr. Elizabeth Nansobuga. Okay.
Thank you, Dean. But congratulations, Madam Munira Gimono.
Thank you, Prof.
Yes, I think you've already gone through enough questioning. I think I should save you by asking maybe one question. I congratulate you for having risk to deal with some of the most controversial issues. The question of sexuality, historically and socially, is always a forbidden area. And most people would hesitate to go into that area. And for you to have gathered courage, but also you have, as a woman, who traditionally we come from the traditional past, we think women have nothing to do with sexuality. The sexuality is defined, directed by men. You can find this in our proverbs. So that was a very courageous move for you to undertake this study. In fact, when you first presented your proposal, was there, and you told that story where the person who was deaf was going for medical care. I remember that story very well. Is it 3 or 4 or 5 years ago? But I remember it very well.
Yes.
But also the question of disability. Disability is also another controversial issue, because these are people who are seen as shameful in our traditions. I remember one of the families was tying their disabled person on one of the poles in the house. I only learned about her existence much later, yet I had been dealing with the family for a long time. So that struck me also, just like it struck you. So I congratulate you for having dealt with those issues, which seems to be at the margin. Now, I was one of your examiners and I read your dissertation. I also made recommendations, which I realize you have attended to in your new version. So that leaves me with very few questions, almost none. But I can easily raise one. You adopted your theory for the study among of the two as the human rights-based approach. And I want to know why having adopted very many international and regional and constitutional and many other human rights instruments, why, in spite of that, the rights, the sexual rights of the girls, adolescent girls, are still violated? In fact, you resisted mentioning the word violated because they are neglected and nobody seems to care, and to the extent that even a medical person who is supposed to first and foremost give preference to life, at this time she was saying, this person can go. How can you do that even when you are not a medical? But in spite of those instruments, in spite of, how can this theory, how could it be useful in terms of sorting out this problem? You have it, and you are not telling me how it should be used to effectively implement the rights of the adolescent girls.
Yes, I think if we can integrate the social mode of disability in most of the programs that we have in the health sector, for instance, removing all the structural barriers, the negative attitudes that we have in regard towards these people, then we can at least achieve. Because the main block here is the societal and the structural barriers that we have, and which social mode of disability speaks towards. So if we can use the principles in this model and integrate it with the human rights-based approach, the principles in the human rights-based approach of accountability, then participation, inclusive programs, then it can help to achieve what we think is left out.
I would get you more, but let's stop there.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, Gimono, for the work. I did read the work, and personally it was interesting, unique, and original. And I appreciate the efforts that you put in. I will ask 3 questions.
Yes, Doctor.
From a sexual and reproductive health background. You drew 2 frameworks, you conceptualized or framed your work based on 2 frameworks or models, the social mode of disability and then the human rights-based approach. But this is sexual and reproductive health. They still remain women regardless of all. Did you consider any sexual and reproductive health frameworks, that intersectionality, that we have the human rights, we have the disability, but what of sexual and reproductive health rights that women face regardless of any other condition? I found like that was missing. I don't know if you did consider any of the sexual and reproductive health models that affect generally women, whether deaf or not deaf. And then how did you reconcile the global normative frameworks on SRH, like you have mentioned, with indigenous perspectives on deafness, like the local or cultural interpretations of womanhood, disability, and sexuality, beyond the Western disability rights or the global normative frameworks? Like adding in the cultural perspective of how people perceive that it could also influence access to sexual and reproductive health rights. And then in terms of what I could have thought would have come out, did you consider digital accessibility or technology, like use of sign language apps, in changing the SRH landscape for deaf women, in terms of recommendation and how we could move forward? And just on a lighter note, who is an adolescent? Because in your work I saw you put an adolescent as 15 to 17. I think there's a page in the results where you said adolescent girls and you defined as 15 to 17. So I wanted to know who is
Okay.
an adolescent. Thank
Yes.
you.
Thank you. So looking at, I looked at the theory of intersection sect, but it could not bring out what I wanted to inform, especially in health, being that the human rights-based approach, it brings in the principle of accountability, and it falls in health in the way that these are accountable to the duty to the rights holders. So it really worked in regard to my work. That's why I didn't look at the intersect version of other theory. Then in regard to our own norms, looking at the global and the local, when we look at most of the literature, especially Mugere, he shows us, and also Kiaga and Moyes 2003 about deafness in sub-Saharan Africa, they reflect that these people are seen as a curse. These people are not valued. They are seen as maybe dependents to their family, so they are just helped. Rather, their voices are not anywhere. So I think globally it is different. And then in our own context, it is totally different in a way that the way they value them, it is something that I cannot bring out in this study very well. Yes. Then in regard to adolescent, the definition, I think it is under the key terms. I defined based on, they are provided for under the UN, and so I used those, the key terms that are used in those documents to define who an adolescent is. But I did not use my own knowledge. Rather, I just got from the citation in that text. Thank you.
An adolescent is 15 to 19. So in your data categorization, you would have to reclassify them as 15 to 19. That's an adolescent girl by UN, or an adolescent.
Yes.
And then it would confound that data, because the needs, SRH needs of an 18-year-old are totally different from a 49-year-old.
That's true.
So if you would have the adolescent girls, 15 to 19, and then you would have the 20 to 49, though their needs, SRH needs, are going to be different. Then I think I didn't get a response on that digital accessibility.
Yes, digital accessibility, I think I'll also look at it because I did not include it, but it is also a good one to include, because I did not use it, but I think it is the way forward, and I'll look at it maybe. Okay. My supervisors. Thank you so much. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Nansuga. I'll invite Dr. Anna Ninsima. Oh, okay, it's okay. So Dr. Anna Ninsima, and then Professor Veneranda Mbabazi will come after Anne. Thank you.
I was looking for the candidate. Thank you so much, Gimono, for your presentation and venturing into a topic that probably
yes, Doctor.
Many people have not. We want to appreciate you and thank your supervisors for the work well done. We also want to thank the critical reader.
Yeah.
You did well. Thank you. I have a few questions. The first one has been touched by the critical reader, as well as the previous Dr. Elizabeth. The theoretical perspective, which the critical reader thinks there is no theory, but you used an approach and a model. So I want to still re-echo the intersectionality. Because I think you would have benefited from something to do with inclusion, given that this is really your focus and the gist of what you're studying. So it misses out. And given that, for example, you didn't even explain your approach and your model well for me to feel the inclusion, so I was still looking for this inclusion bit. And you say that you felt that you couldn't benefit from intersectionality. But then, remember, you're looking at gender, you're looking at disability, but you also have these different components: education, the demographics that you said you were very important. So you find that surely all these need some level of theorization, which I think you lack. Which I also find, and of course then that takes me to your findings, where you bring out the demographic information, but it doesn't seem to help you. It just presented. So you spoke to educated people, you spoke to non-educated, you spoke to, but then it doesn't speak to SRHR. So I miss it to know how different is a woman of my education level and maybe income level who is deaf. How do I compare with that girl woman you spoke to probably in the rural setting in Mbale? Okay, so I think there is need to get these complexities for us to understand them better.
Okay.
And in your methods, you kept talking about the criteria, but you don't really tell us what this criteria, where I didn't read your work very, very deeply, but I didn't hear what this criteria was. For example, you talk of choosing participants purposively, but then what was that purpose? What made you, 80 girls came to you, but then you had to choose 25? Okay, what was that made you choose the 25? There is a reason which you don't say.
Yes.
Which you probably quiet about. And then you also mentioned that all your participants, including girls, were sexually active. And so I'm just like, so you mean in your choice of girls, because girls were not married, so in your choice of girls, how did you make sure that you choose those who were sexually active? Or was it a coincidence? Are you writing? Because you're not writing, and I'm wondering how you're capturing this. Or are you recording?
I'm recording.
Okay. So, I also find your focus, which is very interesting, focus on individual people and institutional structures, which is great. But in our context, our Ugandan context, where sometimes we think the state is on leave, we tend to, the family plays a very great role. And so these individuals you're speaking to are in relationships, they are in families, and you are already talking about their experiences, but then I don't hear anything to do with, they are girls first of all, they are, so being a girl itself in a family, but also being deaf, you know, sometimes these girls are made to be sometimes beasts of burden. They are the ones doing the work. So does this matter to you? Do you think also specifically to SRHR, I mean, even those who are not deaf, most of our information does not necessarily come from state institutions. Quite often, either leading or misleading comes from family and peers. So do you think there is anything that you could have picked from understanding these relations around this individual person? Lastly, on page 112. Page 112. You present a table 7, of deaf women and deaf girls' knowledge of sexual and reproductive rights. And you're looking at ability to see a doctor or medical worker when I am pregnant. And this is, the percent is calculated out of the 50 women. So I'm wondering whether all of these 50 women had ever gotten pregnant. You're going to having knowledge about support from my husband. And I'm like, but some are girls. But then this percentage is kind of out of the 50 females. So do you think the percentages have, I'm not very good with percentages, but I could see this. So I think you really need to probably speak to that. I didn't hear your recommendations. So I was wondering what it is that you're speaking to us regarding the country as a country. Because as I said, even those who are not deaf may not necessarily be receiving the information they need. So I would have loved to hear your recommendations. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Let me start with the last one about recommendations. Recommendations, I put them there and I also reflected on them. The first one were directed to the policy, mainly the policymakers, and then the local level, that is the community, the health care facility, and then the parent engagements in Uganda. So to government.
So why do you have a recommendation on parent engagement when you did not engage with it?
I think being that some of the students were sharing that their parents had neglected them. When they take them to school, they never come and visit until the end of the actually the school calls when they are closing. They just call them to pick their children. So I wanted to also direct it to the parents. And they threaten these children if in case there is one student who shared that instead of parents advising them on sexual education, how to take care of themselves and hygiene, they threaten them that if in case you become pregnant or you get any problem, we shall throw you out of the home. So these children stay with their parents as if they are, they are scared of them. So I wanted to bring out that voice in regard to recommendation, to inform the parents that these are children just like the other hearing children. Yes, and that is why I also referred to parent.
You want to try another question?
Then in regard to the criteria for sampling, I looked at those who are congenitally deaf, because we have different types of deaf people in the school, and also in the community. So I had to select. They came many, so I had to select, because we have those who can understand and look at the mouth and understand lip read. So I wanted those who are congenitally deaf, who use only sign language as the means of communication, and those who had some knowledge about the topic. And that is why I zeroed down. Then later on, I had to, the data kept on coming until I reached the data saturation, and I stopped there. Then in regard to family, how these children matter in the context of our own family. I found that I did not ask the family members, but we sought just for permission. So I did not get any information from the families because of the scope. Yes, so I limited myself to the girls, and these groups were not carried out in the same place. No, the girls, I collected this information in the deaf school, Ballet School of the Deaf in Busoba, and the women in Busamaga separately, because they had different needs, as you said. So the women, we did it in Busamaga Health Center, and that was perfectly done.
Could you just speak to the demographics and how they help?
The demographics, I will not speak about it now. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Gimono, sip some water. Dr. Professor Mbabas is coming with more questions.
Congratulations, Gimono.
Thank you, Prof.
I'm just happy for you.
Thank you, Prof.
And you know why I'm happy for you?
Yes.
I happen to be on Gimono's defense, MA defense, remember, in the other room. And when I looked at her, I realized that she's actually a PhD material.
Thank you so much, Prof.
I'm not surprised that you are defending it.
Thank you, Prof.
I've seen you grow academically. I'm happy for you. And getting younger biologically every day. Thank you so much for taking care of yourself. I don't want to ask him any question, but I just want to engage. Just we talked about experience. Before I came into academia, I was working as a development economics somewhere in Western Uganda, and I was working with two people. Okay, there were many groups, and I was the director. But one driver, I didn't know that he had actually a deaf, but also a disabled girl, and also one of the program officers. So I didn't know that she had a deaf, actually also a disabled girl. So what happened is that program officer would come every day late, but she would hide from me, but I would see her every time when she's coming in. I just keep quiet. And the other one, the driver didn't tell me anything, not until I went there. I wanted to travel to Kisoro, and I was saying that, please, tomorrow we are traveling to Kisoro, so you come early enough. So when I went to his home, the girl, it had just rained, the girl grabbed me, I didn't know. So I also got scared also. So the driver felt so bad that I came to know that he has a disabled and deaf girl. And he talked to him, but they just rebuked her, actually said, I said, please, it's okay, because it had just rained. Actually, I was reading my dress trying something else. I said, it's okay. And then the other program officer, she didn't tell me, as I told you, not until the girl became sick and they were taking her to Ginger. So she came to ask for permission. I just said, she came to my office and she started crying. I said, what's the problem? She told me, I have never told you why I come late every day. I said, you have never told me. I always see you coming late, but I have never asked you. And she said, I have a deaf girl and disabled, so that's why I normally come to work late, because every morning I have to take care of her. And the only word that she could say was rice and going to the toilet. So I looked at her, she started, I said, it's okay. So she went. But generally, deaf people, disabled people, they have many challenges. And we never want to associate with them. And I'm happy you have brought up this conversation, because I always say, it's okay. If you are deaf, it's okay. You're still a human being. So thank you so much for bringing up this. I just want to ask you 2 questions, and if you feel you don't need to answer them, it's okay. Generally, women find it difficult to access sexual and reproductive health. So my question is, how did you navigate cultural and religious stereotypes about the use of contraceptives? By the way, I did one of my dissertation masters, I did about population control with the use of contraceptive family planning in Western region. So how did you navigate this? My second question is, how do factors like age, poverty, and location intersect with deafness to create additional barriers to sexual and reproductive health? Those are just 2 questions. Thank you so much. The last one is, how do factors like age, poverty, we're talking about economic issues now, and location intersect with deafness to create additional barriers to sexual and reproductive health?
Yes, thank you, Prof. The factors, how did I navigate the cultural and religious? Yes, when I went to Ballet School of the Deaf, the school informed me that I should not discuss on issues of that are deep in regard to sexual and reproductive. So I had to just dive into menstrual hygiene and other elements, because they told me that the church and also the community, the cultural norms, they believed that if in case we discuss these issues with the girls, then they will be aware of the sex. Actually, even the parents could not want the girls to know these things, that we shall make their girls know about sex. We shall incite, and they will want to test. So they told us not to discuss things of, and that's why we divided the women and the girls. Issues of pregnancy, maternal, we left out these girls. However, we found that there are girls who had given birth and yet they were young and they were in a Ballet School of the Deaf. So some of the questions that we were asking triggered some of these coming out. But being that we had already been instructed that, please, parents and the society did not want us to talk about sexuality. So culturally, it limited us on that also. Then secondly, in regard to the deaf women, remember when we were doing our adverts, we used the church. They announced after the church service, and then the women came. Then the church leader told us that please do not talk about things that will teach our people about things that are detailed in sexuality. So we understood that the culture itself and also limited us to understand more information. So navigation in this process was a challenge. We could not navigate well in regard to getting information about sexual education about this. But they opened up. At one point, there are those who asked for follow-up interviews in depth. Those ones shared. But in the discussion groups, we made sure that we limited ourselves on maternal health and then contraceptive. How do you access these? How do you choose? And they say that the nurse is for them, and we had to limit ourselves there. Then in regard to the factors like age, poverty intersect with a deaf. This one, I'm not sure about the response, Prof. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yes. But most of these women were not employed. They were just housewives. So in regard to poverty, it is worse because the issue of PDM does not flow down to them. So it can also limit the money flow, the income flow to access the sexual and reproductive. Remember, family planning is not for free. You have to pay. So it also intersected on these women's access to these services. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Professor Mbabazi. I'm going to invite Dr. Dominic Makwa. And as he comes, I just want to make a comment about PDM not flowing down to all of them. And I thought, I'm also here, PDM doesn't reach me. What should I do for PDM to come to me?
You don't qualify for it. Yeah. Yeah, thank you so much, Gimono. In Bududa we say Gimono. Yeah,
yes,
so
Doctor.
Gimono is from Budadili. Yeah. Bring that letter in the write-up. You concentrate on teenage pregnancies. Then you mention the other one much later. I thought you need to really bring that to the fore a bit faster. Someone takes a lot of time to get it. The next comment is about your problem framing. I just want to read a few things here. You acknowledge that government and civil society activists have made commendable efforts to promote interests of persons with disabilities. Then you also say academicians and other researchers have not ventured into issues of these people, especially the issues of sexual reproductive health. And you say you examined the lived experiences of deaf women and girls. So the question was, when you document these things, so what? And I got the answer for you in the third objective. I think you need to connect that to that third objective. When you document these things, you are trying to contribute something somewhere. So you will work out something around that. The last comment is about the use of the term, some of the terms, like access. I was asking myself, a right, for example, these people are having these rights are not given. They are supposed to be there. Is it about access, or it is about understanding that they have these rights? So I thought maybe the language is changing what you want to say. And maybe if they understand, then you are talking about how they should fight for these rights. And maybe that will bring in the issue of the government, why government needs to guarantee these rights. So those are the comments. The questions are short.
Thank you.
And they are two. The first question is about your work in terms of, I see so many subjects there. There is gender studies, you have someone can talk about public health, there's even law, you can talk about even medicine, sociology. So I just wanted you to mention some of the aspects of your work which position you in the field of philosophy. Because you are a student of philosophy, you are going to get a PhD in human rights, but leaning more to philosophy. So what are some of those aspects of your work which ground it in philosophy, not in these very subjects we are talking about? The last question is about ethics. You talk about dealing with school administrators to get consent on behalf of those girls. So I thought maybe there's some kind of conflict of interest for the school administrators. Why do someone said, why do you access something through a conduit when you can really get direct from these people? You may not answer it, but I think it is to go through someone to get permission to talk to this one, and yet you can go to that very person and get the permission. Otherwise,
Yes. Thank you, Doctor.
I think I like the work. And,
Yes.
yeah.
Thank you, Doctor. Let me start with the last one about ethics. Remember, when you look at the act of I've forgotten, but for national science and technology, it regulates that students or people who are below the age of 18, you have to seek for consent. Then after, you can also get their own consent, but it is important to get from the parents and then the students also themselves. So that is what I also got from the rec.
No, what I was wondering, why get from the school administrators and yet you can get direct from the parents? Yes,
we got from the parents because we got the time. I asked for the day of visitation. So what we did, I took the letters and gave them to the school, and the school got permission from the parents. Actually, they called the parents, and most of the parents were even shocked to see that there is someone who's doing a study about their children.
So maybe you edit, you need to edit your work and highlight it that way.
Okay.
Because in the work you say, you got the consent from the school administrators on behalf of the parents. And the last one?
Then about the human, my work is basically on the human rights principles, the context rights mainly. I looked at the human rights. And that is why I struggled to bring out during REC to move away from public health and bring them to the context of human rights.
Okay,
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you so much for the presentation. Thank you.
Please clap for Dr. Makwa. I know. Thank you. Dr. Charlotte Mafumbo will be the last panelist as the friends in the audience sharpen your questions.
My dean, my principal, and all people in the house, I would like to congratulate you, Gimono, for coming this far. Wanyara Navi.
Thank you, Prof. Thank you, Prof.
I happen to be a neighbor of Busambaga, so I'm very excited to stand here and congratulate you for this great work. The one very outstanding issue, and I believe this house will bear with me, is that you're not only an activist, even if you've said you're not, you're a very subtle activist. And the first demonstration of that is that there is nothing about them without them. That we have these people in the house is human rights. So thank you very much. You're not backbiting them.
Yes.
You're telling them.
Yes.
You're disseminating.
Yes.
And you're being accountable to the voices that you got. So thank you very much.
Yes, Prof.
On a few notes, and I think I'll make them very short because all the previous respondents have highlighted them. When we talk about your research methods, I kept on being excited about Busambaga and this other place. But there's no geographical scope in the work. So I just heard it from you that you're going to these places. It would be nice to have that geographical scope. Sometimes it's even better if it is in the first part before you go to the methods section. And number two, you are dealing with a very, very critical issue. Human rights are very fundamental, but I missed one great voice on whom your work rides, and that is the Nobel Prize winner Amartya Sen, who writes about the rights of the human-based approach to human rights, and especially the fact that he identifies access to health care, which is very paramount. I think you should acknowledge him and have him there.
Yes.
Now, the most important issue also, I thought, in this study is that you very clearly and articulately highlight the access and barriers to access of these special sexual reproductive health products, if I may call them. Now, one of the products is access to contraception. And I know that this normally comes with a lot of misconceptions and biases. And I'm very curious to see in your work when you were interviewing and when they were transcribing and translating for you, what were those things that stood out for the deaf, these people who we call deaf, about issues of use of contraceptions? Following that then, you did Busambaga, you did that other area that you talk about, whose name I can't recall. Access to health facilities is often a big issue, and sometimes it comes with issues of access, quality, affordability. And I was curious to know, those women who are hearing impaired, I don't know about the use of deaf. I always was told it was not the right word to use because it just confirms the bias around this disability. So for the hearing impaired who could not access this health facility with respect to these other challenges and the accessibility in terms of money and everything, and we are seeking support of birth from other providers like our traditional birth attendants, did you find them having the same issue? the same challenge, because if someone who can't talk goes to a traditional birth attendant, what happens there? I think for me that was most outstanding, and I thought it would be nice for you to include a line or two. Finally, I think you talk about the civil society, and one of the, I think it was the main opponent who raised it. He wanted to know what civil society was. I think it's a very critical player. It's independent of the state, and often the only one that is able to champion the rights of disability without any fear or favor. And I'm very honored to see that your principal supervisor is one of the very celebrated human rights advocate. He's not a civil society maybe, but I think the outstanding role civil society plays needs to be hyped in this work, as their role is very, very outstanding, because they are able to call the state to order. They are able to insist on these people's rights being abused. And accessibility, accountability is always something they cherish. So thank you very much, and wish you all the best, and congratulations.
Thank you, Professor.
Wanyala nabi nabi.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Mafumbo. And thank you, Gimono. We have come to that part where we now open to the audience. And today I want to become a dictator so that I keep everybody else in the house awake. Okay, I'm going to take two questions. One, no, okay, it will be one online. And, okay, two online and two here. So let's begin with online, because we already have the hands up. And so, Barry Olwatch, if you can unmute and ask your one question, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you very much. I am called Barry Olwatch. I am a product of Chusis Makerere. Currently, I'm doing my master's in disability studies and inclusive development at Chambogo University. And I am carrying out my research in the same, more or less same sector line with the doctor-to-be, Dr. Munira. Thank you very much. My research is on the provision of sexual reproductive health services among deaf women in Kampala, capital city. Dr. Researcher Munira, thank you very much. I always believe that it is better done than perfect.
The so question kindly be
my question
precise
is, yes, Chair. I wanted to know how did the researcher eliminate errors when she was interviewing deaf women? Did she use interpreters, and how did she verify that the interpreters were giving her the right information? The last one, there are many, but I agree with the Dr. Feta's comments. The last question from me, Chair, is that I see there's no much limitation from Munira's report. Can she share with us the limitations from her report, her research? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Let's have the second question from Dinawe. Please unmute and ask your question.
Oh, thank you, Chair, for this opportunity. And I congratulate Gimono for this excellent work in this area of human rights. The two issues I have that I would wish to articulate is, I'm wondering why you prefer to use focus group discussion instead of individual personal interviews, bearing in mind that you are dealing with somewhat controversial and private information touching on sexuality and reproductive health, especially in a group that has challenges. Two, this being a qualitative study and you being a subtle activist, I kept wondering how you controlled for positionality and reflectivity effects on your findings. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. I'll come to the physical audience here. If anybody has a question. Okay, there's no question here. And so I come back to the candidate. Very quickly and briefly, could you respond to those questions?
In terms of errors during in the field, number one, I'm a sign language interpreter, and I worked with the professional sign language interpreters from Chambugu. Errors are always there, but we always we always when I was doing my analysis, I scrutinized all the videos and removed what was not needed. In other words, I started by cleaning my data, and then also experts went through this data also, who are sign language interpreters. Yes. Then secondly, why did you choose FDGs? I chose an FDGs because there's people who were comfortable due to the time also. Remember, these were housewives, so having focus groups could help to reduce on the time that could be spent on an individual, and that is why I also opted for that method, to get information at a short time. Yes. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for responding to the questions. We'll now come to the end of the first session. I'm saying first session. And the panelists are going to retreat with me back to the Dean's office. Then we will come back to announce. But before we leave, our principal is here. I acknowledged her presence when she had stepped out. Principal, please just wave to us. We are very happy that you're in the house. Thank you so much. So we will not take long. Please, is that a vote, a ballot paper for me? So, okay, thank you very much. Oh, okay. So we had a question that, we didn't give opportunity. Do you think? Gimono. Gimono Munira Ali. It's okay. It's your day. I'll wait for you when you're ready.
Yes, doctor. Yes, doctor.
Okay. Good afternoon, colleagues here and online. Thank you very much for being patient with us and waiting for us to come back. I lost my way, that's why all my colleagues got back, and I was still trying to find my way, but I'm happy that I'm back here finally. So, Gimono,
Yes, Doctor.
the examiners have deliberated and they agree that there's no clapping. They agree that this is a very unique topic that you set out to study, and they congratulate you for being very bold to take on such a study. They commend you for the origin of the work because the data clearly speaks for itself. The voices are there. But beyond that, they really applaud you, ensuring that our guests are here today. And they are not only here, but we also have the sign language interpreter. So you're walking the steps of inclusivity, making sure that they are here and they can be able to follow the conversation. So on the basis of your work and of course the quality and what you've demonstrated here, you pass. Many congratulations.
Thank you.
And so, yes, Dr. Resty Naiga was truly your mother, and Dr. Ssentongo, you disturbed him on the streets and everywhere. And he didn't put you in the cartoons for taking away his peace. He did a good job, so thank you very much, supervisors, for walking the journey with the student, and thank you very much, our critical reader, for reading the student's work closely. And thank you, panelists, for reading the work, listening to the student, and asking questions. Again, as you know, from the conversation here, you know that there are issues that we shall want you to address before we finally accept that work and forward it for you to be put on the graduation list. I'm not going to read the comments here because you'll get this from Secretariat. But I just want to be clear that you have up to 3 months to do your revision. So how fast you revise depends on whether when you want to graduate. So if you want to graduate in February next year, then you don't have the 3 months. But if you want to wait for the other year, which will be 2027, and then you might actually have up to all the 3 months for you to revise. And your revisions will be supervised by your supervisors, and Professor Koko will oversee the revisions. So yes, I want to stop there. I know you'll get the rest of the information from the Secretariat, and just again to say congratulations.
Thank you so much, Doctor.
And thank you, everybody, for being here with us. So again, as is tradition in this room, you have the mic.
Yes.
If you want to say 1 or 2 things. Wow.
Thank you.
You can first wait. So who is taking the photos? Dr. Farouk, are you there? Please come over there with Dr. Farouk, are you capturing that? This oh, sorry. Of course, thank you very much for the sign language interpretation. Mike, we are very, very grateful.
Okay.
Okay, I think, hand over.
Thank you so much. Thank you for coming. Let me thank my supervisors. Thank you so much. Thank you, panelists. Thank you, the critical reader. Thank you so much. Thank you, my funders, my friends, my colleagues. To the deaf women and girls and men, I'm so proud of you. And you know it, I always tell you. This, yes. You know, when I met that woman, she changed my life. I went and learned sign language. I came in the deaf community. I went in deaf churches to seek and understand how they perceive the world. How do they do it? They are mothers, and I understood the challenges, the everyday life of a deaf person with difficulty. And I promised them that we shall do this research. They were among the pilot study that I carried out, and I promised them, they told me, please, this is our research. It is not for hearing people. So never leave us out when you're defending your work. And I've fulfilled this promise. Makerere University, thank you so much. Many people have told me that this is the first study looking at the experiences about deaf women and girls in this institution. Apart from Mugere, who wrote about deaf identity and ethical methodological issues in the deaf community. I met him and told him, he said, wow, this is something worthy. But I would like to thank my mentors also, who are not around, and those who are around. Thank you so much. Thank you, Professor Charlotte Mafumbo. You know, she always sends me, whatever she finds, she tells, Gimono, I'm sending you. Please read this. Please read this. Thank you so much. At one point, I went to history. Most people thought I was from history because they were so lovely. They welcomed me with open hands. Then I would like to thank Professor Mbabazi. Thank you. Wherever she met me, even at the canteen, Gimono, how far? Are you finishing? So at one point I used to hide. When I say I hide, because she's going to ask me. But thank you, because it really gave me direction to continue pushing. Then I would like to thank my family. My sister Shamim. She is the first audience. Before I say something or do something, I first give her to read. And then I ask her, did you understand what I was meaning? Then she, yes, what do you think? So she's my first reader. And then my brother Asman. Asman, you can stand up. He sells cars in Chambogo. That is the person I work with when I had left Makerere. So I was working with him. He asked me what happened in Makerere. I told him, don't talk about those things. And when I said that, he doesn't ask. He says, it's okay, you come. When I joined Chambogo, he said, it is fine, but what happened in Makerere? I never gave him the response. But Asman, I've finished. I promised him. He brought, when I came to Kampala, he used to take me to school, to campus. I used to get lost. So I called him, and then he picks me. But I would like to thank him for all he has done for me. This is the first PhD in my family. The paternal and maternal, this is the first PhD, even in my clan. And I was the unserious person in the family. No one could believe that I could finish this, but I shocked them. I think even the passion that I had towards this main subject it pushed me to reach further to gain. Yes, so if in case you're doing something and then you have passion, maybe at one point it can drive you to finish it. Yes, so I would like to also thank my funders, Macquarie Research Innovation Fund. I don't know if they are online, but I would like to thank them for the financial support they gave me. Then I also want to thank Mawazo, if they are on, because they helped me to publish my article and other articles that are coming on. Then I would like to thank my main funder, Dr. Honorable Justice Lubega. He's online. I would like to thank him for being there for me, for supporting us doing the PhD or what? Because at one point I left everything. So he told me, please, you continue and finish. But I would like to thank everyone now who have come and seated to witness this. Thank you for coming. Regendo, I've never seen him in any defense. But today he came from, thank you, because he has a busy schedule, but he managed to come. All of you, thank you so much. My colleagues, Jemba.